Aaron Rodgers and his agent have been negotiating with the New York Jets front office on a new restructured deal. What would an Aaron Rodgers restructure look like?
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Brees Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be going over the contract situation that Aaron Rodgers is in, this rumor that is that they are renegotiating that contract to help the New York Jets, and what might an Aaron Rodgers contract look like. We have two options. One that keeps him around for 2 years, one that keeps him around for 3 years, and then a couple of things that we can talk about. So let's start with the main thing. Is this a real story or is this just some smoke? No, this is absolutely real. For those of you who don't know, Aaron Rodgers is slated to make $1.165 million this year, and that's his cap hit, is a $1.215 million cap hit. It is infinitesimally small. It is literally the league minimum base salary. And that's because when the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers initiated the trade, Green Bay restructured Aaron Rodgers' contract for Green Bay to put all of that signing bonus into year 2. So the New York Jets acquired Aaron Rodgers on a 2-year contract, $1.215 million this year, $107.6 million next year. The New York Jets are not in a position to take a $107 million cap hit next year. It's just not feasible. That's not a real option for the New York Jets. So we always knew that a restructure was going to come onto the books. Now, there are a couple of ways that the New York Jets can go about this, but we're going to talk about two of those situations. Let's talk about the first situation, the one that I think is a little bit more likely than anything, and that's what happens if Aaron Rodgers only commits to the New York Jets for 2 years. Well, if the commitment is, hey, I'm going to play in 2023 and 2024, and the New York Jets use that as a basis to create their contract, the first thing that I would do is I would convert his total contract of what he is due is $108,815,000. I would convert $60 million of those cap dollars into signing bonus, and then I would add 3 void years onto the back of the contract, turning a 2-year contract into a 5-year contract. Now, for those of you who don't understand how void contracts work, here's a quick understanding. Adding void years onto the back of the contract extends the ability for you to prorate the bonus. Anything that is considered a signing bonus for a player, so anything that you convert from salary into signing bonus, the player gets paid that up front, but the team benefits by being able to spread out that number across however many years of the contract. So by adding void years, we can spread out that cap hit to a $12 million cap hit this year, a $12 million cap hit next year, and then the New York Jets would eat $36 million in dead cap hit in 2025, the year after all of the shenaniganery happens and all of that stuff happens. The cap should explode, and in theory, you're going to be able to eat that much dead cap hit because you prepared for it. It is a future problem, not a this year problem. So that's the first thing I would do, is I would convert $60 million of that $108 million salary into signing bonus and add 3 void years. And then I would also convert and turn some of that money and put that into a base salary this year. So instead of him getting a $1.2 million salary this year, I would pay him $17 million as a base salary this year. What does that do for the New York Jets? Well, that raises his cap number this year. That means that Aaron Rodgers would be a $29 million dead cap hit this year, raising his cap number this year. And yes, the New York Jets have ways to create that cap space. We still can restructure C.J. Mosley. We can still extend and restructure Carl Lawson, which I honestly think might actually happen. We can still cut Jordan Whitehead. There are ways for the New York Jets to create this money and to create this cap space. So let's not worry about that. So that's number one. But the other thing is that would give us next year would give him $34.815 million in salary, giving him a $43 million dead cap hit, eliminating that $107 million dead cap hit next year. Still giving the New York Jets in year 2 the ability to go out and get and create a winning championship roster to run it back after we just won the Super Bowl. Now, if Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I'm going to commit to beyond just the 1 year, I'm going to commit to 3 years, well, what does that contract look like? So the same thing happens with the signing bonus. I get $108.8 million total salary that he's due. I convert $60 million of that into signing bonus, but instead of being able to add 3 void years, because it's a 3-year actual deal, I'm going to add an additional real year and then 2 void years. How does this help the New York Jets? 1, we still get to spread out that $60 million in prorated signing bonus over the next 5 years. So we get a $12 million cap hit every single year. And instead of in 2025 being hit with $36 million of dead cap, you're going to get hit with a $24 million dead cap hit in 2026 because all of that bonus comes and falls on 2026. And then what would I do? Well, this actually helps the New York Jets in the short term because what I can now do is I can actually raise Aaron Rodgers' salary in 2023 to $3 million, giving him a $15 million cap hit this year, a much more manageable number. In 2024, give him an $18 million base salary, giving him a $30 million cap hit in year 2. And then in 2025, put the remainder of the salary, which is about $27.3815 million in base salary in 2025, giving him approximately a $40 million dead cap hit in 2025. These are all extremely manageable numbers. And if the New York Jets wanted to, I left and created enough salary cap in the base salary because that's where you can convert the money in terms of into signing bonus to prorate it over extended amount of time. I left enough wiggle room that if the New York Jets became or got into a cap crunch situation, they can still manipulate the cap to get under the number and still acquire players. Now, ultimately, I'm a much bigger fan of having Aaron Rodgers here for the next 3 years versus having him here for the next 2 years. 1, because the salary gymnastics that we can do are much, much easier, and the dead cap hit that we're going to take at the end of his contract isn't going to be as big versus if we just did a 2-year contract with the 3 void years on there. But it all comes down to 1, what is Aaron Rodgers willing to commit to? But 2, how much money do the New York Jets want to prorate or put onto the dead cap hit books in the future? The more we're willing to eat on the cap hit while he's actually playing, the easier it'll be for the team in the short and the long term. So there might be some cap casualties in this year to facilitate adding more money to Aaron Rodgers' contract in this year than we might expect. The Quan Alexander signing might not happen. Jordan Whitehead might become a cap casualty. Corey Davis might become a cap casualty. Depending on how things go at camp and depending on how we restructure this contract is really going to dictate how the New York Jets are going to be able to play salary gymnastics. Don't forget that we also need to extend Quinnen Williams, and that can actually help free up some cap space in the short term if you give Quinnen Williams a 4 or a 5-year deal at the $24 to $26 million-ish that we all expect. Look at what they did with his brother. You can still add void years and all of those things onto the contract and not have to worry about that on the back end. So let me know what you guys think. I really think that this contract negotiation is going to be able to help the Jets in the long term, and I would not be surprised if when the contract details came out that there was a 2025 year. I think Aaron Rodgers is here for the next 3 years. I hope I'm right with this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.